How are we doing, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs? It is a fine Sunday. Welcome to the big weekly stream. I hope you're all doing mighty fine and are ready to get back into the game tomorrow. Hope your weekend was lovely. I spent 5 hours driving and 5 hours drinking yesterday. I went to a guy's birthday party with a woman, and then we stayed up until very late. I started setting up the stream on time today. I apologize for the 1 hour delay. Obviously, we're going to stay longer today. Everything was messed up when it comes to my setup because, as you know, I've been traveling. So I had my travel setup. And now when I brought everything back home in order to reattach it to the standardized office system, it took a second for OBS to agree with me. So yeah, apologies for the delay. Did you see if what Freda made in the game he's currently playing? No. Yo, Hugo, how you doing, my man? I hope all is well. By the way, I just wanted to say sorry for spamming. Sometimes you're not spamming, dude. I cleared 1,200 cigarette butts from my area. That is impressive. I have gotten a ton of weed, seeds, ammo, and food, plus a new bed. I just ordered a new bed with a really good, what do you call it? A really good mattress. I put in a lot of subscription money in that mattress. Your boy is going to be sleeping well because the bed we were using up until now is the one that came with the place that we bought. And it was absolute fucking shite. The bed frame also was wooden, which is like whole aesthetic and shit. But that thing starts creaking really fast. Okay, really fast. Barry's immediately hitting me with the classics. Thank you. I'm putting it on the list, my friend. Comrade Internet, what is this? Another classic, Canadian Cultural Workers Community, Death to the Traitors. Fuck yeah, man. I see we're all in a very good mood today. Welcome. The title says it all. We're going to be watching some cool fucking videos today, talking about some cool, having some cool conversations, getting to know each other, and vibing, because it's a Sunday. It's a vibe day. We are not supposed to do anything else but activate 30% of our neural network, and process some stuff. So lay back, open your favorite spicy or non-spicy drink. It is good to see all the OGs in chat, and let's get right to it. Haven't gotten to that point in adulthood. Good job, Hugo. Thank you. Yeah, the bed we got was wooden, but that thing like really creaked, and the mattress itself was absolute garbage. It was from the previous people. It also felt a little bit unhygienic that, you know, we spent so much time sleeping on a bed that the previous owner slept on for at least 2 years. She told us that she owned it for 2 years. So it was just strange. The vibes were off. And that was a very creepy thing about it as well. You know how under the mattress you have the bed frame, and the bed frame has these wooden planks in between the frame, right? And the wooden planks are basically what keeps the mattress afloat, right? On one of those planks, she had written out her name, and it was right under the part of the bed where I put my head. So her name was like always right below. Why the fuck she would write her name on top of a plank underneath the mattress? Is that a hex? Have I been hexed? Because that sounds like a hex. Thank you very much. Cerebral Siren. Thank you very much, Cerebral Siren, for those very kind 6 months. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it. Yeah, some voodoo. Yeah, I've been hexed. That's why I couldn't sleep. Imagine now I get the new mattress and I start sleeping really well, thinking that it's because of the new mattress, but it's actually because I threw out the old bed frame and I ended up sleeping better. Might also be a protection charm. Yeah, but okay, so if it's a protection charm, it's protecting the bed from people and spirits that aren't that lady. Well, I am those people, right? And the main reason she was selling the apartment is because she had sold her previous one, wanted to buy a bigger place, this place, and then her husband died. And then she was like, I don't need this much space. I'm gonna I'm gonna sell this apartment, then buy a smaller one for myself, and give my 2 kids money for a down payment for their own apartment. So yeah, got a great deal because the dude died. Rest in peace. But pretty nice apartment though. Thank you, V2 Tax. Thank you for the fucking 11 months, you crazy motherfucker. Thank you very, very much. She was a nice lady though. She was very nice. She was an artist. I collect a lot of art. I really love art. But she had some art. She had some art. I bought a painting off of her. Very, very, very chill local artist. Depends. Most occult stuff is interpreted to be all about the intention. Yeah. Hopefully. Hopefully. Okay, we are hydrated. We are rock hard and ready. No, we are not rock hard. We are. What the fuck are you saying, Hugo? We are hydrated, full of energy, semi-hangover, and ready to get into this shit. I got some fucking bangers in here, okay? I got some fucking bangarinos. Let's start out with Jimmy the Giant. Jimmy the Giant was recently on the program. Thanks to Toasty Android, by the way. So, Jimmy the Giant seems to be talking about good old American exceptionalism, good old American cultural hegemony, good old American cultural imperialism, which is a topic I find very interesting, okay? So, want to watch it? Sounds good? Are you ready? Are you also bricked up? Well, let's go. Okay.
I would get in from a hard day playing curb.
Was about to roast your outfit, but I'm gonna save it since I don't want to get banned. My outfit is great, dude. My outfit is sick as fuck. Fucking Lacoste, bro. Dude, it's clean as fucking shit, baby. This is clean as fuck. Clean as fuck. So, but no, please do roast it. I love being run down, if you know what I mean. Run me down, baby. Thank you. Okay. Shirt boy in striped pajamas. Hey, that was good. That was pretty good. But what's wrong with being in pajamas, though?
I flick on the Growing up as a young Brit, I would get in from a hard day playing Curbsy. I'd flick on the TV and I would step foot into a portal that led me to another world. A world where kids didn't wear school uniform. They had massive homes with swimming pools. They were eating Big Macs for lunch.
Non-Americans in chat, like, as a kid, you thought America was literally all Disneyland, right? It wasn't just me. The strongest and greatest American export is Hollywood, is American so-called culture. All of us wanted to be American. To be American is to be cool, right? At least used to be. But now, unironically, because of TikTok, a lot more kids have access to real Americans who are shit-talking America. So kids that don't live in the United States, that have only been exposed to, L.A. and New York penthouse movies, right? Ain't no way they got a house that big, I remember thinking when I watched Home Alone for the first time. Now they're exposed to normal Americans, and they're realizing, okay, this is all gibberish. They don't have health care, and they get shot. Like I all the time in schools. The amount of times I've read a comment that literally says, "Yo, I can't believe that at some point I wanted to move to America. If you put a gun to my head right now, I would not move to America." But old Hugo, holy shit, I almost said my full name. Old Hugo would have fucking adored that shit. Would have adored that shit. I've convinced many of cis friends that America is awful. Yeah, you should. You're doing the world a fucking favor. Thank you, Superikako. America is when you get killed. America is when killed. Yes. Thank you very much for this sub. I didn't think U.S. was a real place. Everyone wants to be Chinese now, pretty much. Now I wish to be Chinese instead. Yeah, I guess everybody does want to be Chinese. I didn't bother with PvP stuff when I played MMOs, and this is why I am presently not interested in going to the Burgerreich unless it breaks like a plate. Yeah. But what the fuck does PvP in MMOs have to do with that? My brother. What the fuck? I didn't play PvP in MMORPGs. That is why I hate America. What? I'm so confused. I used to simp America in front of my previous American friend and would constantly try to bash my country just to make him feel better. Yeah, of course. To be cool and to be trendy and to exhibit wealth, even in some cases, especially in the developing world, is to carry yourself like an American, to know all the American cultural references and so on and so on. But now there's a very interesting dynamic going where a lot of the cultural reference points, due to the relative democratic nature of the internet, are not exclusively coming from the U.S., where in the past it used to be only the U.S. because only Hollywood had that kind of a budget to produce those types of films and distribute them internationally. No other country had the ability to do so. But now with everyday Joes producing content and other countries pretty much unleashing their population onto different social media platforms, we're seeing more and more of more and more internet culture slowly, truly becoming international and not only America-centered, which is very nice, which is very chill. This is not bashing American culture de facto, and I will never do that because I really fuck with a lot of American quote-unquote culture. This is just saying that if we get exposed to more angles, more perspectives, it's going to be organically better on average for everyone. And American cultural imperialism is the opposite of that. It's exposure only to the American perspective, to a twisted American perspective, and the idea that we, should all strive to the American way of life, to have governments like America's, and to all be parts of little Americas all around the world. It gives us tunnel vision, organically and sometimes very intentionally.
In this same world, heroic American soldiers saved the day, and good would always be evil. Now, at the time I didn't know it, but I was being raised on a very carefully curated story. A story that imprinted beliefs and attitudes upon me without my knowledge. I was being indoctrinated by American propaganda.
What makes America the greatest country in the world?
To the flag of the United States of America.
So, my friends, I want you to grab your copy of the American Constitution. I want you to flick to the first page. What does it say? Freedom of expression, right? Americans fucking love freedom. They love free speech. And this is definitely true, of course. But what if there was like some people who made films and those films sort of like questioned certain American ideals? That would be a little bit awkward. So America had to do something, right? And it kind of started around about World War I. Newspaper, radio, and films were increasingly becoming tools that pushed messages that the government didn't really have full control over.
The
In
government?
1917, when America joins the war, they needed to get public support for the war effort. But Americans didn't like the concept of propaganda. It was seen as like un-American, a symbol of like pompous European monarchs, and they wouldn't accept films that were paid for and obviously pushing a political propaganda message. And so, the Americans had a really good idea. What if we don't call it propaganda? But instead we create
Fucking brilliant. Unironically, 1 billion IQ move. A fucking brain the size of the moon, okay? They just said, don't call it a public service announcement and put, some hot women in it and some dudes with guns. Wait, why didn't we think of this before? Literally, unironically. How was that invented in the United States by Hollywood? How did nobody... I'm talking about modern era, right? Go we can write books, and the books are gonna have an agenda. Or we can open a publishing house and only publish books that get, a particular agenda being pushed, right? So clean.
a committee on public information. The CPI.
Sup, Adrian?
So, it wasn't propaganda. No way. Not propaganda. CPI, baby. The CPI would, go through newspapers, magazines, posters, cartoons, radio broadcasts, public speeches, and very crucially, films. They would put their pro-World War I messages into these things to influence the minds of Americans. And the message was pretty straightforward. The war is righteous, your freedoms are under threat, and it's your duty to report dissent. And so Hollywood, already booming, was now pumping out pro-war films on the request of the government. And this would be the groundwork that would realize the power of cinema to influence the way people thought. Okay, so now it's like the 20s and 30s, and Hollywood has this kind of image problem. The celebrities are sort of like a little bit naughty, dying of drug overdoses, having sex scandals and affairs, and even murders. And these things were going all across the newspapers. Meanwhile,
Lying really be OP, isn't it? Lying be fucking OP as shit. The video isn't pinned. Apologies. There we go. There we go. Video is pinned now. I think I speak for the majority of us when I say that we used to believe that Soviets and Chinese were the most propagandized people, but now we all know it's the West, America especially. Yeah, could not agree more. That joke that I've probably said like 700 times at this point. A CIA agent and a KGB agent are talking. CIA agent tells the KGB agent, yo, you guys literally have the best propaganda. I'm so fucking jealous about the way you manipulate your people. And the KGB guy says, oh, thank you very much. But like, we're absolutely nothing compared to American propaganda. And the American goes like, what do you mean American propaganda? There's no such thing as American propaganda. And the Soviet goes, exactly. Such a classic.
Oh, the films themselves were a little bit risque. I'm talking gangsters, sexual innuendo, even jokes about religion. And so a growing concern from the sort of free speech and liberty-loving Catholic and Protestants who began to campaign against Hollywood for being immoral, saying that they're using the medium of film to corrupt the youth. And so there was a real movement pushing for censorship laws. Hollywood did not want to be under the thumb of the big man, right? They didn't want to have to...
Be right back, gonna get coffee, but propaganda in media is such an interesting concept that you could spend 3 hours on the 1920s alone. Absolutely. Because at some point, the most interesting aspect of it is that at some point it generates itself. It generates itself organically because the people making or writing the film are usually members of the upper strata of the society that they find themselves in, which motivates their, for example, increased patriotism, increased subjective, in this case, for example, American POV on the world. Blah, blah, blah. But also from the market perspective, it motivates you not to break mold too much, to play it as safe as possible. And playing it as safe as possible usually means just, regurgitating and confirming the status quo perspective on how the world works or how it should work. It's fascinating. Like, there's so many tropes. You know what my new favorite trope is that I recently noticed? When you have a character that is in a job that is not defined by most as one that is not defined by most as successful. Let's say low-ranking cop. Let's say janitor. Let's say school teacher, right? 3 very different professions, but by most, like, oh, why am I, you're watching the movie and usually people ask themselves, why am I supposed to care about this character? Now, a well-written script is going to inform you on why you should care about this character by explaining their personality to you, by showing you how they act. They're either an anti-hero or a hero, or they're interesting, they're boring, they're funny, they're lazy, they're cringe, whatever, but that's how you start caring about them. But, and this is the trope, a lot of movies, I feel like, a lot of writers, I feel like, don't think that the audience will take a character who is not successful by the definition of capitalism seriously. So what they do usually is like Sure, he might be a low-ranking cop, but only because he was like the best detective back in the day, and now he's been demoted a bunch of times, and that's why he's just a street sweeper. Or, yes, he might be a janitor, but he used to be a CEO who realized that wealth is not everything, so he abandoned that, and now he takes care of young people in school, blah, blah, blah. Or what was the third category? I don't even remember. That type of shit. I don't know if you've noticed the trope. Basically, they have to tell you that this person is really powerful, which insinuates that the writer himself believes that, quote-unquote, normal people are not interesting enough for viewers. It's the I could if I really wanted to mentality as a trope. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. What happened to all the commies in Hollywood back in the day? Today, celebs just make vids singing Imagine. Absolutely. But you know what? I don't know if that was a literal question. Because what happened, there was a lot of communists in Hollywood back in the day that were making films questioning what America's perspective on capitalism should be. They just got jailed or assassinated or thrown off of fucking windows and balconies. The Red Scare. They literally got banned from working in their profession. They got put on lists. They got put on posters plastered all over LA. Shit like that.
Relations is very complicated. So they made an agreement, a silent agreement, and they created their own industry watchdog. Unofficial.
Real canceling, right? Real fuck my free speech that unironically existed in the United States and was levied almost exclusively against communist agitators or liberation groups of different sexual minorities or ethnic minorities. Okay? Those guys don't get to talk. You know that old joke, the first time gun laws were passed in the United States is when the Black Panthers started buying shotguns. Oh.
Called the Hays Code. So all of the major studios and their owners came together and created a list of rules that they enforced over the entire media industry. These rules include no sexual perversion, which means gay people, no gays, no interracial romance. You can have a little bit of
Thank God Chad is bisexual.
violence, but not too much violence. Obviously, you can't mock religion or clergy members. And also, you can never be sympathetic to criminals. Criminals are always irredeemable. And so what came out was you're only allowed to make films that were moral, clean, patriotic, pro-American, where good triumphs evil and traditional values reign supreme.
The Legion had something called the Legion Pledge, and you have 20 million Catholics that would stand up, raise their hand, and pledge that they would not attend motion pictures that the church deemed unworthy and unholy.
So basically, the studios would have to submit their films for approval. And if the film didn't get approved, then the distributors just wouldn't make the film. And so...
What did you get, like a little cross on the top corner of your movie posters? That like organic or vegan, you know how we have the stamp? You had Christian stamp.
The land of the free. Political censorship of...
Extra virgin slop, okay? No boobas in this movie. No.
Hollywood had begun. Now, I could do a whole bit about how America was willingly letting Nazis come over and regulate American films so that they could be shown in Nazi Germany, like removing Jewish people and stuff. I could do that, but we'll skip it because eventually America would have to break its love affair with the Nazis as it was forced to join World War II. God. So by World War II, the propaganda machine was really built and oiled. It was ready to go. And World War II presented an opportunity for propaganda to be taken to the next level. They created the Office of War Information, the OWI, in 1942. And the writers...
Yeah, it's called Feature Films for Families. Wow, FFF. Feature Films for FFFF. You get an F. What do you mean? I mean, families can watch your stuff.
War boards, WWB. Because obviously America have to pretend that they don't like censorship and stuff like this, so these were privately run boards, but the government guided them and funded them, so, you know. And the way it worked is that filmmakers could submit films to this board, and if they liked it, They would get major funding from the American government. I mean, sorry, the privately run business. Yeah. And like, yeah, you could get funding. Just make sure you don't show America as like weak, divided, racist, or imperialistic. Just, you know, go easy on us. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that anti-Nazi propaganda wasn't needed. Of course it was. But by doing this, they had created a precedent in Hollywood. You see, after the OWI was dissolved after the war, government influence into Hollywood didn't disappear. It simply went behind the scenes. What is known as the military entertainment complex created a pipeline between Hollywood and the US military. The military...
Literally. On the topic of Hollywood, when my parents and I watch a pro-American movie, basically all of them, is that we predict that the bad guys are either an Eastern European gangster, African warlord, Arab terrorist, Asian mafia man, and Latin American drug lord, always so-called American enemies, and the Eastern hordes. Dude, I literally play it like a bingo card with my fiance, dude. Literally like a fucking bingo card. We go, oh... At the same fucking time, every single time it's like an action movie or a thriller with a bad guy. The second, you know, the main villain is revealed, and then the main villain has a very thick accent, and then says what motivates him, and it is usually deep hatred towards freedoms of America. We both just go, there he is, there he is, there he is. Oh, it's so good. So good. But I don't know if you notice another trope. A far more interesting trope is that even though the minorities are some sort of, not minorities, other cultures and nations are the bad guy, there's always a mastermind American behind it all, right? Because like the Eastern hordes are evil and want to fuck us up, but they would never be able to because we're so fucking based. The only person that could ever defeat us is another American, is a traitor. Think Call of Duty, right? So you have Makarov, you know, the evil Russian man. You have the spin-off Saddam Hussein and the Arabs, But the main bad guy turns out to be that captain that, you know, kills ghosts in front of you, right? Like, sure, all the evil groups are organizing and conniving against the great United States of America, but those we clean up easy. The American is the real problem. Or if you, like the strong, smart American, because he outsmarts everyone, including other Americans. Or the other trope where you have multiple parts of a movie, and, you know, it gets more, you know, you move towards the climax more and more and more. In the first movie, they fight some bad guy. Then in the second movie, they fight some bad guy times 2, okay? The stakes need to increase constantly. And in movie 1, bad guy is, you know, for example, paramilitary, runs paramilitary, evil Russian man, right? First movie. Second movie, much bigger scale, president of entire Arab country, right? Much bigger scale, not just a paramilitary, president of entire country. And then the third part, for the stakes to be really, really, really big, it is an American politician that has an army of 150,000 people that wants to do a coup against the American establishment and our freedom-loving way of life, right? The stakes are always highest. The enemy is always the most professional when they are American. So what I'm trying to say is, us Eastern hordes, we can't have anything, okay? We both need to be the enemy that is fought, okay? The enemy that hates the American way of life, while at the same time not being capable in any way because we suck at what we do. We just run around like, and blow ourselves up or some shit. Or sell children, you know, or sell women on black market. Like, oh, and always the American guy. Oh, the other trope. Always American white dude goes to a country to save them from their own corrupt government or mafia overlords or evil religious dictators. And then has a local woman fall in love with his pasty ass. It's always like a woman that, you know, hugs him. Like, you're not like these barbarians. You are a truly civilized man. No one will have my children. Nom, 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 nom. It's always like, you just go, literally the Leonardo DiCaprio thing. Like, every time I watch a fucking movie that involves, you know, espionage or fighting or whatever. Literally this. Ugh. Let me see it. Okay, but the naked gun is a parody of all of this. But yeah, literally this. Have you watched the new Naked Gun? I haven't yet. Everybody says that it's really funny, apparently.
Listen to me. Killing a few hostages is not sufficient. The Americans must be made to suffer. We must humiliate them.
You do not go far enough, General Amin. We must strip their entrails out and drag them from here to Damascus until they include us in the peace process.
Holy shit, it's everyone. Wait. Okay. Gorbachev. Here we got the Soviets, we got the Palestinians, we got the Cubans, we got undisclosed evil, probably Eastern. We got two African warlords. I can't see this person here. Obviously, we have Iran. Like, Iran is very, very simple. Let's see.
Process.
No, nonsense.
Ah, Libya, there you go. Oh, there two Africans, of course. There we go.
The solution is not bold enough for Libya. I say, wipe out Washington and New York.
What? And spoil 3 years of good public relations? I have the Americans believing I am a nice guy. In some of their polls, I am more popular than their president.
Do you mean?
Gentlemen, this is getting us nowhere. If we do nothing else this week, we must conceive at least one terrorist act that will show all the world.
I believe that half of the people that joined the U.S. military after 9/11 unironically believed that this is every Muslim on planet Earth. Like, literally this. Every American after 9/11 that joined the U.S. military thought that this is every single Muslim.
Gentlemen, this is getting us nowhere. If we do nothing else this week, we must conceive at least one terrorist act.
Me when I'm hangy. Me when I haven't had anything to eat and it's 2 p.m.
Week, we must conceive at least one terrorist act that will show all the world that the United States, the great Satan, is but a paper tiger, a weak nation, of weak people, a people ripe for destruction, cowards no longer willing to fight.
Let's go! Fuck up those. That was kind of funny.
I knew it.
I lost 23 pounds. Ask me how. What? Is this some joke from 40 years ago?
I'm Lieutenant Frank Drebin, Police Squad. And don't ever let me catch you guys in America.
Yeah, brother. Let's fucking go, brother. No, that is a real goddamn man. Oh, Lord. That was great satire. I just hope it was satire, and I'm not being confused about 80s American culture.
It would offer major funding, major access to equipment and locations. Simply went behind the scenes. What is known as the military entertainment complex created a pipeline between Hollywood.
Pipeline. If you like pipelines, support this part of the leftist pipeline by subscribing. Huh. That was fucking pathetic.
And the US military. The military would offer major funding, major access to equipment and locations in return for script approval. So you get films like The Big Lift in 1950.
This happens so much to this day. So fucking much.
Strategic Air Command, The Bridges of Toko Ri.
Thank you, Toasty.
And this was all the way back in like the 50s, but this pattern would continue. Films like Top Gun in 1986 were funded
Be like Toasty, be purple.
directly by the Department of Defense, and that film spiked military recruitment by 500.
I love how the new Top Gun movie was them doing a high precision strike in Iran 1 hour before America did a high precision strike in Iran. Look at that.
The Hunt for Red October 1990, Black Hawk Down 2001, Pearl Harbor 2001. And
You imagine if it's life imitating art. It was Trump that watched the movie and he was like, yo, now that sounds fucking awesome.
The Transformer series, which
was
2007 all the way up to 2018. So as time went past, filmmakers, they were presented with this strange incentive. It wasn't that you couldn't go and grab a camera and tell some very honest story about the complexity of life, critiques of America, but if you want to make a sick film about tanks and guns and blower-uppers, and if you wanted major funding, distribution, you could have all this, my friends. Just make sure you paint America in a really, 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 really good light. And voila.
Or propaganda that is even better than this. Paint it as a complex place with its minuses, but at the end of the day, does the right thing. That's, for example, the current pitch for the CIA, all the pro-CIA films that are basically a product of a very big recruitment gap that they are experiencing, where they depict the CIA as an organization that has done harm, but is now finally trying to better its way, and so on and so on.
You have a blockbuster hit. But what if new ideas started to spread around the world of what even...
You've seen Q-Force yet? What's Q-Force? Q-Force. Oh my god. No fucking way. This is like animated gay CIA agents.
Everyone, go, go, go! He's the best of the best.
Our 2011 valedictorian, Agent Steve Merriweather.
Now, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed. I can stand before you as my true self. A gay man!
There was a mistake. We just...
Okay, maybe it's self-ironic. I doubt it. There you go. That's better propaganda. That's much better propaganda than it's like, yo, there are corrupt members of the CIA or the FBI, but the wise and just ones eventually oust them for what they are. The organization self-cleanses, and we end up doing what we need to do. Stuff like that.
In terms like freedom really mean? What if slowly culture started to change? To GDPR.
Okay, we're back to the regularly scheduled broadcast. Thank you to everyone from the bottom of my heart who participated in today's first Civil War. Maybe we'll have another one towards the end of today's stream. You never know. You never know.
PAA and EN 18031 standards. These are the industry's most secure compliance requirements, ensuring the safest storage and transmission of your data. So be sure to check the links below, use my code Jimmy to enjoy 10% off and get an extra 600 minutes of transcription. Anyway, back to the video. So next time you're in America...
There's a pillow called the buttress pillow. It's a pillow that looks like an ass. What in the no girlfriend or boyfriend having what? I'm about to annihilate my algorithm. That's fucking freaky. It looks like somebody cut off a human being. Yeah, that's crazy. That looks like a body part. That doesn't look normal, bro.
America and like at a bar, just grab an American by the hand and just whisper in their ear and say, healthcare should be free. So if you do this, there's about a sort of 60% chance that they will have an aneurysm. And if they don't immediately die, their heart will race, their lips will quiver, and they will sort of spit at you. Free healthcare? No way, you can't have free healthcare because free healthcare is communism. Communism is evil.
I don't believe that our government should be responsible for providing all of us health care. I do not like the idea of that.
I don't want the government picking what I can and cannot do.
If everybody has something for free, who's going to pay for it?
Anything that's free, sometimes it's not worth having.
So America, right, despite being the only nation, sort of developed nation, that doesn't have some form of free healthcare, they seem to have this very unique relationship to the word communism. A relationship...
Communism. What's this? A Palestinian joke. 3 secret agents were walking along the edge of a forest. One was CIA, one was KGB, one was Shin Bet. They saw a rabbit running into the trees, and they decided to see how fast each of them could capture it. The CIA man went in first and returned with the rabbit in 10 minutes. They let the rabbit go again. The KGB agent returned with the rabbit in only 5 minutes. The Shin Bet fellow was not impressed. That's nothing. Let the rabbit go. The Shin Bet officer went after the rabbit. The other 2 agents waited. 5 minutes passed. 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes. 20. 40. Something's gone horribly wrong. They entered the forest to look for their Israeli colleague. They walked for a long time, going deeper and deeper into the woods. Finally, they heard a noise, yelling and screaming, and they followed the sound to a clearing. "Admit it! You're the rabbit! Admit you're the rabbit!" As he beat on a motherfucking donkey. Ha ha! That is fucking funny. That is indeed a great picture of the Israeli intelligence services.
That even in the UK, as influenced by Americans as we are, even we don't have the same reaction. And of course, the rest of Europe doesn't either. But this attitude, this fear of communism, wasn't an accident. During the Cold War, which was 1947 all the way to 1991, the USSR became a global power. And they were a problem for America. And they didn't just fear them because of the potential of nuclear warfare, but they feared them for the potential that their ideas might spread. Ideas like worker ownership, the power of unions, class solidarity.
Ideas like having a normal functioning society. Holy fucking shit. Ideas like the worker actually reaping the benefits of his labor. Oh my goodness.
And this was very, very bad for America. In the late 40s to 50s, the US of A descended into a national meltdown over this fear of communist infiltration. A man by the name of Joseph McCarthy, he built his entire political career over accusing people of being Soviet agents with little to no evidence at all. What's more is McCarthy claimed that the United States government, military, and the media was riddled with communists.
I know it's a boring joke at this point, but if communism didn't work, why would the Americans spend 50 years pretty much shooting everyone who believes in it in the head?
Any man who protects communists is not fit to wear that uniform, General.
The growing menace of communism arouses the House of Representatives un-American.
Are you now under the direction of the Communist Party?
The fight will continue, regardless of how rough the opposition gets, and rough it will be.
The general gist that he tried to put across, that there was these sneaky communist spies everywhere, sort of like hiding in bushes and bins, and they were all plotting to just overthrow America. But like these sneaky spies,
literal unironic thought police. and this is the accusation they throw at leftists now, okay? Right-wingers literally created a department dedicated to canceling people if they think the wrong thing. God forbid, say the wrong thing. And we're the ones canceling, my guy.
were sometimes, they were super sneaky, so like they couldn't find them. And so America set up the House Un-American Activities Committee, the HUAC, with the sole duty to weed out communists from every layer of society. You gotta think, right, if you're trying to find these secret communist saboteurs, these spreaders of dangerous thought, well, who was more influential at spreading ideas than Hollywood? The idea that Hollywood was
It's also kind of an admission of guilt. The fact that they went after Hollywood script writers and directors and producers to such an extent who happen to identify with socialist beliefs shows that the United States government from the get-go looked at Hollywood as a propaganda machine to push forward pro-American ideas, etc., etc. You get my point? Like, if they thought it was just movies or it was just art for, everyone to consume in their free time, they wouldn't so aggressively try to censor it.
secretly infested with communists who were using the films to spread communist propaganda. All whilst Hollywood was literally, as we've just gone through, were literally funded by the American government and military to promote pro-war and pro-capitalist messages through their films. Nonetheless, right, a load of actors, writers, directors were dragged in front of the HUAC, and they started being blacklisted from Hollywood. Anyone in Hollywood...
There you go, he did the joke. Lele did the HUAC tour, and now Jimmy did the same thing.
It's, you know...
Pre-watched. Lele pre-watches.
A creative arts field who was suspected of being slightly left-wing were fired and not allowed to work ever again. I don't know if you know this, but usually creative people tend to be a little bit left-wing. Writers, actors, directors were having their careers destroyed on literally just allegations. Now, there was no single official law which banned communist thought from Hollywood. However, there didn't need to be.
Culture is the means by which society's economic and social order justifies itself. Absolutely. That's why art plays such a major role, because art manages to remove itself from the so-called structure and superstructure. Art manages to, by removing itself from what is currently defined as status quo culture in a particular place, I'm overcomplicated and I'm fucking hangover as shit. I apologize. What did I want to say? In capitalism, capitalists define what is cool, capitalists define what is moral, capitalists define what is ethical. Culture quite literally trickles down to the rest of us. The way we see ourselves, the way we see our country, the way we see the economy, the way that we see culture. But artists enter that conversation and through a lens of criticism manage to pinpoint that exact relationship. And they end up making art that criticizes the status quo as it is. That is why it's extremely important for countries like, the United States to censor said artists, because they are the ultimate and most powerful tool of opening the eyes of the masses, because an artist is directly, sometimes even materially motivated to show alternative perspectives to said status quo that I'm talking about. So they, while culture reproduces itself in the same way in a particular society where, quote-unquote elites in capitalism, quote-unquote capitalists, trickle-down culture to the rest of us, artists are one of the only groups that manage to kind of remove themselves from that relationship and then give a critical eye to it, and through their art potentially help others to see the same.
And this created an entire culture of fear across the industry. Collective action, class solidarity, union...
If you want to keep the status quo, you got to make sure that all the artists doing art really also love the status quo, which ironically, I believe, would not really make them artists.
Any idea that was potentially even perceived as being pro-worker was now being labeled as communist and traitorous to the very foundations of America. So let's just think, right? You're a director and you're thinking of making a film. How likely do you think you're going to use your creative freedoms to express any critique of America, capitalism, the system, or promote workers' rights? Do you think you're going to do it? No. You're much more likely to make a film about some dope fucking boxer bro traveled to Afghanistan and single-handedly took on the Soviet Union.
It's some of the greatest fight stuff I've ever seen filmed.
The media that was being pumped out of Hollywood had a very, very clear set of beliefs and attitudes it started to push into the minds of people. That American capitalism and individualism is the only way. Every problem in life has one individual solution. Every injustice in society can be overcome through grit, faith.
I love how, I don't know if you noticed, but I love how in the Rocky movie where he fights the Soviet, somehow in capitalist America, the one who fights for the United States is an impoverished working class man that manages to do everything by himself and defeat an enemy against all all the odds and so on. And the Soviet is the opposite. He's like a guy coming from a communist country that is somehow super elite and has like all the resources in the world and all like the best technology to train and all the steroids and all the, they use all the they attach computers on him when he trains, like 20 dudes like are measuring him constantly, etc., etc. So the communist boxer guy is the rich guy in the Rocky film, while the guy coming from a capitalist country is the poor guy. I love that dichotomy that they really stressed.
And one brave man standing up for what is right. Heroes, villains, and a happy ending. There was no moral grey areas, no mid-grounds, no nuance. There was very little hang on guys, why is the bad guy bad in the first place? Maybe the good guy, maybe he's not actually that good, and maybe he's part of a system that perpetuates a certain type. Shut up, you filthy communist. There was this really good video I watched which was comparing American and Chinese political philosophy, where it talks about how Americans have a very vertical philosophy. So they start with a base idea. Freedom is fundamentally good, and this fundamental good should be applied everywhere. You apply it in every situation. The more freedom, the more good. Whether that freedom means that kids have to go to school walking through metal detectors so they don't get shot, is shut up. Freedom, good. This binary way of thinking has such deep cultural effects, not just on America, but also directly onto all of the European markets that Hollywood was selling to. America obviously dominates the entire media world. In as early as 1919, 90% of films shown in Europe, Africa, and Asia were American made. Now, it wasn't just like fair game because Americans are sick. It was basically just ruthless capitalism. From Thomas Edison just putting
a lot of people tend to attribute this to like the superiority of American culture. No, they just have all the fucking money. Even if you are a non-American filmmaker or producer or writer, you go to the Americans to make it because they have all the money. It's literally that. Hollywood has more money than any film production setup, let's call it, anywhere in the world. Hell, even when a country tries to compete, we still use the word wood in its name. Indians making really, really cool movies. It's immediately Bollywood, right? It's trying to be Hollywood. No, it's its own thing, but the name implies it's trying to be Hollywood.
Of patents on film equipment, making it impossible to get films into the American market, to the Americans just coming in and buying out whole film industries, crushing the competition, and just pumping their films all across the world. Britain.
There's definitely an argument that could be made that when the U.S. State and State Department started going against Hollywood and universities because communist control the universities and the knowledge as a continuation of the Judo-Bolshevik far-right Nazi myth. I don't know, what do you think? Of course, no. That's not, you always play on this, reactionaries always play on this invisible enemy that is somehow all-powerful but also incredibly weak and scheming, etc., etc. You can apply it to any category.
And Germany, Italy had a really thriving film community. Like after the war, when Europe was rebuilding itself, part of the deal to receiving money from America to repair was to open up its market, especially to American films, because they knew the power of films to sell messages around the world. I'm sure the neoliberal revolution of the 80s could not have been done without some assistance from Hollywood messaging in films. We had a very deep pivot in the way we used to think about society through the 1980s with Thatcher, as we embraced very American ideals. Ideas around like the government being tyrannical, the British socialism that came before it was one singular step away from being Stalin. It tried to reframe society that like big businesses were our saviors.
Mind is an attribute of the individual. There is no such thing as a collective brain. The man who thinks must think and act on his own. The reasoning mind cannot work under any form of compulsion. It cannot be subordinated to the needs, opinions, or wishes of others.
Isn't that crazy? That's being said in a movie that is compelling you to think the same way. The man that says that nobody should be compelled is directing you. Nobody should be compelled by the opinions of others. I say, the person who is not you to you. The idea that an individual exists without community is the most absurd fucking thing on the planet.
We very specifically moved away from a collectivist attitude towards society.
FML, when I tell people you shouldn't listen to anyone, but what I do for a job is to tell people stuff as they listen. Starts melting on the screen. The contradictions! The contradictions! I'm gonna contradict! I'm contradicting! I'm contradicting! I'm seeing in 5D right now. All the pieces are coming together. I'm gonna contradict so hard right now.
We're all part of a community and we work together to help everyone. And toward an attitude that we are actually a nation of individuals fighting each other for our slice of the pie.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works.
All of Europe went through this process of like privatization, reducing taxes on the rich, reducing the welfare state. But in much of Europe,
The lion doesn't concern himself with the opinion of others. Rawr! Rawr, rawr.
leftism is accepted without the instant association with Stalin. Whereas in America, they take someone like a Bernie Sanders, who would be your average European politician, and they see him as a wild, radical communist who will make a dictatorship of America. But this actually particularly affects Britain because, like, when you look at a politician like Jeremy Corbyn, they sold the same communist sort of Red Scare tactics over him.
Jeremy Corbyn has always attracted support from the far left, but there is support for Jeremy Corbyn even further to the left. The British Communist Party will stand no candidates in this election for the first time since 1920.
But it's interesting, right? Because when you look at America, they sort of struggle to understand the grey area, right? It doesn't have to be a communist dictatorship or free market libertarian extreme capitalism. Obviously, there's lots of mid-ground between that. But in the
fucking centrist, yeah. We kind of really, what's the word? We grinded Jimmy during the deprogram on this. Basically, we called him a baby socialist, and we basically told him, give it time, you'll be one of us in a couple of years. So give him time, don't immediately go like, Ray, he's being a sotsdem. Yeah, he's a sotsdem. Give him fucking time. He's going in the right fucking direction. He was a fucking libertarian like 2 days ago. Give him some fucking time. Don't fucking shoot allies, please. Okay?
American mind, and I think Hollywood plays a massive role in this. It's very hard for them to understand.
Immediately half of chat is, I hate this guy now. I fucking hate this guy. No, guys, I love you. I love you. Don't hate him. He's on the right path. Okay.
And it isn't one or the other. It can be somewhere in between. Obviously, I'm not talking about all Americans. There are many Americans that support Bernie Sanders, etc. But there are large parts in the political class and of society that just can't see it this way. And it's interesting when they have to contend with the fact that many European nations have way higher living standards than America. And also, nations that they used to be much bigger than are now competitive. These attitudes that America's number one, capitalism's the best, it's the only way. As time goes past and other nations develop and change, which they start to contradict this American attitude. And so, American politicians have to explain it within this binary way of thinking. You can see it with how Americans often talk about the Chinese success, right? The success of China really goes against what America believes.
China's defaulted with us because if you look at what they're doing with the way they steal our intellectual property, our intellectual rights, I mean, it's crazy what they're doing. I mean, there's like no laws that pertain to them. So you could certainly make a case in a court. What they have done to us is incredible.
I'm gonna sue a country, the whole country. It is stealing my intellectual property. Every time I hear anybody engaging in a conversation about intellectual property, I literally just imagine the melted Wojak. Like if you're seriously discussing intellectual property, idiot Wojak, not this one, idiot Wojak. This is what I see immediately. Okay, this is you trying to debate intellectual property. But then again, I'm a bit radical on this point. I'm not even going to go into it.
Don't have.
I take it, I think, to a very, very, very steep step.
And then they come over and they get state dinners. Okay, we give them state dinners.
And the story goes like this, that China opened up to American trade, American tech firms came to China, and China said, in order for you to access our market...
What do I mean? Okay, let me say it this way. When I watched the H-Bomber guy with like the copyright stuff, it was a good video, don't get me wrong. And talks about stuff that is important. But I couldn't help but not be, like, throughout half of the video being like, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Like, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Like, who gives a fuck? That's what I mean when I said that I'm a little bit radical on all sorts of, this was done by this guy, and then the other guy took it. Whoa! Oh my God, no! Not my stuff! Whoa!
You need to share
my stuff, my script, video.
Your technology with us.
And I'm saying this is a content creator, right?
Understand it. And the American capitalist...
by the way, everyone, please check out the current mutual aid campaigns with aid. Absolutely, please do, and support the campaign.
Firms did so.
For real, please do.
Willingly, driven by their desire to make more profit. But if a nation somehow starts...
If you were thinking of giving me, for example, 5 gift subs, give me 2 and send 3 to the mutual aid thing. Okay?
To grow and...
You think the fact that Jimmy doesn't seem to have excessive China brainworms is a good sign? It's a very good sign, yes.
Outcompete them is because they're just bad guys, not playing by the rules, they're cheating. Which just sounds like any basic Hollywood storyline from the last 100 years. But the reason they have to do this is because if they were to just accept that the Chinese state were involved in business and it was successful, it undermines the American mythology. And due to their relentless propaganda, systems can only be one or the other. One of which is good, American capitalism, and the other, evil, tyrannical communist dictatorships. So now, as I explained earlier, right, America, through the force of legislation, power, and big capital, have been able to dominate the entire global film market. And its films, unlike the sort of indie European filmmakers, were created with a different philosophy.
What the fuck does my mustache always look so fucking ginger in this light? My mustache literally isn't ginger. I swear, Chad, I'm not a ginger. But dude, it literally looks ginger. They're not. It's not red. The light is really freaky. It's a freaky light. The light is a freaky. It's a freaky little light. You're a ginger. No. I am not. Would that mean I'm a minority? Gingers immediately be like, could I say the N-word now? Remember the whole fucking TikTok debacle where black people were basically like, gingers are black, and then the gingers started saying the N-word, and black people were like, no, okay, you're not black, fuck off, like, what the fuck? We just literally gave the best thing, but no, you had to ruin it, fucking white people. You need that bisexual background light. I have never succumbed to that disgusting trend, and I never will. Bisexuals, very good. I like very much. Bisexual lighting, oh my fucking God. My fucking God. Grow off personality or something. On the contrary, you make me feel more Serb than Irish right now. Yeah, mate. I'm watching. I'm very Irish coded right now. I'm watching that show. It's surprisingly great show, surprisingly decent show about the forming of the SAS back when Britain, for a short stint, was relatively the good guy during World War II, and the main guy is basically an Irish dude that fucking hates all the English there, but he's like, we're fighting the Nazis, so I might as well, whatever the fuck. And just that accent is so stuck in my brain. It's phenomenal. You better like bisexuals. I do, because not just because I like bisexuals, but because it's the majority of my chat. At least we've realized in one of our Civil War battles during a hype train. Funny you say you don't like bisexual lighting while looking like JT with a mask on. How do I look like JT with a mask on? You mean just white boys? Yeah, I guess we do all look alike. Who won the booty war? The booty war. The booty people. Booty was 43 subscription votes, and boobs were just 11. Feet was minus 10. It was the first time we saw people vote with minus points. He wears shirts like that. Who do you think he saw wearing shirts like this and started wearing them? Motherfucker, it all starts for me. It all starts for me. You think I saw this from JT? JT saw this for me. JT's probably watching right now, freaking the fuck out. You'll see in a couple of months, I'm going to start switching up my style. JT's going to switch up his style. The world starts and ends with Hugo. Don't you know? Hugo, but the car doesn't. What's up, Robo? That's really nice, Robo. What's your ideal extinct animal? That's already extinct or that's going extinct? The most beautiful extinct animal is, yes, Barry, Yugoslavia. Oh, I still miss her. I still miss her. Already extinct. Let me see. List with pictures of extinct animals. I mean, dinosaurs are a very cheap choice, but fucking dinosaurs are so cool. What the fuck? And no, I was not a dinosaur kid. Please open. Okay, I accept. Jebentu pičku ti jebem. Can I have photos? Birds, mammals, reptiles, amphibians. Oh my God, not the amphibians. Oh, fuck no. We had a little golden fucking frog, and we killed that motherfucker. Nature made a frog, which is already fucking so fucking cool. And then nature made it gold, which gold is objectively the best. Okay, it's a meteor. And then we killed the motherfucker. There you go, golden toad. Fucking, we killed the gold. We had a golden toad and we killed it. We really are a fucking menace. Spinny leaf frog. Splendid poison frog. That is freaky. That looks like a meat puppet. That looks like unrealistic. Have you seen those fucking plant that smells like rotten meat? That shit's freaky. Look at this freaky shit.
It happens maybe only once a decade and lasts about 24 hours. The bloom of the rare and gigantic Titan arum. better known as the corpse flower.
Our planet is so fucking cool, dude.
It's a mimic.
It's literally like the plant gets hard and becomes stinky. Okay? Like if you believe in intelligent design, then God was like, haha, dick plant. Dick plant. God, are you sure? Dick plant. We're doing a fucking dick plant right now.
It's a mimic. It copies the stench of dead, rotting animals.
And I'm gonna make it smell like fucking rot. God, why is it shaped like a dick and smells like rotten meat? That's what your mom said. In my brain, God is a frat bro, okay? In my head, God is a frat bro.
But hold up. What you're looking at isn't actually the flower. That part? It's a modified leaf called the spathe. It even looks like raw meat. And this is the spadix.
Spadix! Woo! Subscribe for spadix, okay? Subscribe for smelly dick plant right the fuck now. Oh, the best subscription grift pitch I've ever done in my life. Spadix. Come on. They knew exactly what they were doing when they named that motherfucker. Oh, god damn it. The fucking epic.
It heats up like a mammal's body.
It heats up like a mammal's body. You mean it heats up like the last 3 letters of its name? Come on. So it feels like a dick too? Come on. God was having a fucking party with this one.
So warm, it steams.
Oh, come on. Why is this video making me horny?
It's all meant to attract its pollinators, insects that lay their eggs on fresh carcasses. But the flowers, they're way down in here.
Yeah, same like...
Each of these is a male flower. And below are the female ones. With
okay, you see, they're doing some... God did some great like gender commentary there, you know? Like the ones that look like phalluses can also be girls, you know? You can have girls with phalluses. There we go, you know? Very, very chill. Very chill. Didn't know you play like that, God. Holy fuck, man. God's a chill frat, bro.
Just hours to reproduce, the stakes are high for Titan Arum. It would be easy if it could reproduce using its own pollen. But the plant needs fresh genetic material, pollen from other corpse flowers, to make these, the fruit and seeds that eventually will become healthy
trypophobia through the fucking roof right
new
now.
plants. So, it staggers things. The female flowers are ready first. They get sticky. The plant sends out its...
The narrator knew exactly what the viewers are going to be thinking as she read that out. Listen to how she says they get sticky. Like almost laughing. They get sticky.
Flowers are ready first. They get sticky.
Yeah, she was about to go, you know?
The plant sends out its powerful stench, more than 30 chemicals in all. Some are nice. The spathe releases a jasmine smell. But mostly, it smells like funky cheese, rotting garlic, or dead rat.
It's gotta fuck you. It smells like funky cheese or rotting garlic. Come on! Like I don't want to be weird right now and say what I'm thinking, but we're all fucking thinking it. Son of a bitch.
In the wall. That aroma tricks flies to come investigate, thinking it might be a good spot for their young. And And they might bring along pollen from another corpse flower, brushing it on the female flowers.
The old dick cheese plant. Oh, fucking legendary. Fucking legendary. Oh, the jokes write themselves sometimes, dude.
A few hours later, the male flowers release strings of pollen.
I'm not even going to.
Some of it falls on the female flowers.
I'm not saying anything. I'm a serious political analyst. I am not saying anything.
But by then, they're no longer able to use it. Which is how the plant avoids pollinating itself. Titan arum is rare. Poachers and deforestation in Sumatra, where it's from, have taken a toll. And in botanical gardens, like here at the University of California in Berkeley.
Why would you steal that plant? So you can sell it to a rich guy to put in his apartment so that the whole apartment smells like rotten meat? What the hell?
There aren't any other Titan arums in bloom to share pollen with.
I know, rich guys buy it for one reason. You know why? Because whenever somebody comes to their apartment, goes like, oh my God, that's a big flower. They immediately reply with, you think that's big? Let me show you something else. Oh Lord, I love my job so much.
So when one opens up, biologists often collect,
even though I'm actively sabotaging it, like no.
Collect pollen by hand to freeze and use later when another corpse flower is ready. Which is how this lonely giant survives, with such a foul and fleeting bloom.
Oh, come on!
Which is how this lonely giant survives, with such...
Is this TOS? I'm not, at this point, I'm not even sure this is TOS.
A foul.
Oh, Hugo, what did you do today on the stream? I was just with chat looking at dick plants.
And fleeting blue. Hi, it's Lauren. We found
Thank
this
you,
little...
Lauren. Damn. No, I will not. Titan arum, the Titan penis flower. It's big, it's smelly, it's unusual, and it's surprisingly fascinating. I mean, if you say so, my friend. Oh, wow. That was one of the greatest palate cleansers that I've experienced. This is what the Aldo Sanctuary would look like if Hugo took over.
Mass production.
Anyways, back, we're watching how U.S. propaganda fried your brain. We are, 2 hours into the stream, and we've gotten 19 minutes into the video. Fantastic. Explosive. We're doing really hard work.
Studios like Universal, Warner Bros., Paramount, they didn't just make movies and works of art, they built assembly lines. Dedicated screenwriters, on-contract actors, costume warehouses, backlot sets, reusing scripts and recycling plots. This content machine, right, this mass production meant that they could compete on scale. They could just flood markets with films. So the spread of American television and film was able to take the day-to-day life of Americans, their culture, their lifestyle, and make it a part of our lives abroad.
So, Mama, what'd you do? Making dinner.
Like most Europeans, most British people, we understand a lot of American jokes and references, even references to things we may have never been to. If they make a joke about a 7-Eleven, even if you haven't stepped foot in one of them, you'll get what they're talking about. And it would impact you, right? Like, I have definitely called a couch a sofa many times. I think
it's pretty crazy. Like, you go to the States, you've never been to the States, you see a 7-Eleven, you don't have to ask, like, what is this store about? You know what 7-Eleven is for some fucking reason, even though you never stepped on American ground.
Even in my weakest moments,
How the fuck do I know what a redneck is? That is so fucking niche and so fucking exceptionally specific. but a fucking 14-year-old Belarusian kid probably knows what redneck means.
A bin. A trash can. Ugh. America wasn't just exporting beliefs and politics, but they were actually painting a mythology about America itself and its history. Films like Gone with the Wind basically whitewashed slavery. They made Confederacy seem like a lost noble cause. Mr. Smith painted American democracy as flawed but ultimately virtuous. Shane told you that violence, when done by the right man with a good moral compass, wasn't just acceptable, that it was necessary.
If a man really wants to protect what's his.
Just got a great movie idea. You know how you have The Man in the High Castle, alternative history of the Nazis one? Same thing, but alternative American history if the slavers won the Civil War. Set in, for example, the 60s or the 70s. Oh, wait, that was just America. No, not set in the 60s, because it was the way black people were treated was pretty close to it still being a slaver society. 2010s America then. Well, that's what I was going to say, yeah. Harry Turtledove already wrote a bunch of novels about this. Oh, that's fascinating. The guys that ruined Game of Thrones wrote a script for that. Ah, fucking shit. Jesus. They were going to do that, the Game of Thrones guys. It was called Conferate, and it was canceled before it aired. It's a very interesting concept.
He has to do it for himself.
These were moral blueprints that trained...
He also wrote a novel series about ginger-addicted lizard men invading Earth during World War II. Now that I want to link to, okay? Why do they eat ginger specifically? Is it like a cocainum for that? Cocainum?
The entire world on how to see America and its morality on a global stage, like in a benevolent way. They were always the good guy. And they also exploited an image of the American middle-class paradise. To me, growing up, America was this place where every family had like a massive garden or a lawn, a big swimming...
This plays, for example, this role when it's aired abroad, but you know what role it plays domestically to Americans? It basically gives them motivation to slave away for the rest of their life. It gives them unreachable displays of wealth and tells them, yo, you should clock in every day because this could be you. Bro, this could be you. Look at the big house. Oh my God, look at the picket fence. Holy fucking shit, it's got 3 floors. Pull outside and pull inside. Now clock back in, Johnny.
It's
always for domestic consumption and foreign consumption.
You had a porch out the front of their
as all good propaganda is.
house. They all had double fridges, which were always full. 2 cars. The neighbors were always friendly.
It's a bit weird that he's using this movie as a reference point because this movie like makes fun of that. Like it makes fun of that the whole concept that he's talking about, and he's using it in the background as an example, which is wild. But okay.
What those films didn't show us was how this middle-class paradise was funded. Funded by a massive empire, protected by military, and built on a society that in reality was deeply segregated and insanely unequal. As these predominantly white families we'd see on the television were moving into these houses with federally subsidized mortgages, at the same time, black Americans were being redlined. They were excluded and confined to very underfunded neighborhoods. For much of this period of time, Jim Crow rules still dominated the South. Lynchings still happened. Native Americans were being displaced and Latino workers were being exploited. And poor white communities weren't living in this paradise either. Many were just surviving in broken towns on the wrong end of capitalism. But none of that stuff really made it into the TV shows and the films. And when Hollywood did attempt...
I literally just watched The Wire.
To talk about these things, if they wanted to talk about crime, gangs... and
That's why, for example, The Wire is really good. That's why it's, for example, not propaganda. Because towards the end of the show, all the best cops get fired. All the cops that actually want to do their fucking job get fired. state of the hood doesn't change. Just new players that are filling old roles enter the game. The hood stays the hood. Poverty stays poverty. Drug dealing stays drug dealing. Like, nothing changes. You spent 5 seasons worth of time with all of these people through like probably 5-6 years of their life. Towards the end of the season, you know, you're about to tune out, and then you realize, especially with the final episode and some of the final scenes in the final episode, that everything you've seen, all the effort from all the sides and so on throughout the entire 5 seasons was genuinely for naught. They even sprinkle in a little bit of fantastic social commentary with that one police chief who's like, I think, like, okay, let's just make this shit legal, but just make them do it over there. And then, you know, social care workers, etc., come to help the people, the addicts and so on, to, you know, live a horrible life, but not as horrible. Try to maybe even pull some of them out of this incredible poverty, etc. And he ends up being like completely thrown out on his face and embarrassed in front of the entire city and called a crazy guy for even attempting to do anything like this. Like that's why it's good. That's why the show is good. Because a bad show would have this really smart police chief who does this, and then he would change the whole police force, and everybody's going to be like, oh, holy fuck. In America, when one guy stands up and speaks up and introduces something truly ingenious, then everyone listens, and the police force is now changed. Cops are now good guys that actually do change society. Whoa, hell yeah. Like, that would be propaganda. In this show, what they do? Nah, he gets fired. He gets fired and lambasted and becomes public enemy number 1. Right? Like, they immediately destroy his life. So it's that's why it's good. It's so fucking good. It is such a good fucking show. Homicide: Life on the Street is also Homicide: Life on the Street. I will definitely check that out. Hell yeah. I never heard about that show. Fuck yeah. Oh, it got great ratings as well. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Is it set even in the same universe? Because it has one overlapping actor, the judge. Is it set in the same universe? I mean, it's set in Baltimore, but you get what I mean when I say in the same universe. This guy plays the judge. Oh, this guy plays the journalist. Man, I'm so good with faces. This guy plays the journalist in The Wire. This guy plays the judge, and this guy plays the journalist in The Wire. Are they in the same universe? I think you'll also like the movie The Order. I think I watched it. The Order. Oh, yeah, I watched it. Not bad. Not bad. It's good. Not bad. Is it in the same universe? I think it's based on the same book. Pretty cool stuff.
In ghettos, they'd usually do it in one or two ways.
Genuinely.
Either they would simply paint them as like these black criminals who were backwards, lawless, and kind of deserved the conditions they were in. You'd see this in things like Menace to Society, Colors, Training Day. Or they would show this poverty as an opportunity to prove themselves. You would see this in 8 Mile, Coach Carter, Freedom Wright, criminal, ghetto, long end of capitalism. But none of that stuff really made it into the TV shows and the films. And when Hollywood did attempt to talk about these things, if they wanted to talk about crime, gangs, and ghettos, they would usually do it in one or two ways. Either they would simply paint them as like these black criminals who were backwards, lawless, and
but it's The Wire playing in the background as he's saying that is fucking insane. It's really fucking insane. Because this show does the exact opposite, right? It's borderline Marxist with its material analysis, but I'm sure this is unintentional. It's the edit or whatever. Jesus, Jaeger, thank you very much for the 5 gifties. Now I'm craving a Jaeger. I drank Jaegers yesterday. Fucking bad fucking idea. My fucking head is still shaking.
kind of deserve.
Even got slightly in trouble with the woman because she was next to me and she doesn't mind me drinking from time to time. But specifically Jägermeisters, she really fucking forbids me, which makes it kind of, forbidden fruit type of vibe. So I'm like, oh, I'm about to Jaeger it up. But yeah, literally worst fucking hangovers.
Of the conditions they were in. You'd see this in things like Menace to Society, Colors, Training Day, or they would show this poverty as an opportunity to prove themselves. You would see this in 8 Mile, Coach Carter, Freedom Writers. A lot of these are great films, but in both cases, there's never really an explanation.
Yeah, but most of those are white savior films and shit. Yeah, it's okay. I agree to disagree. Most of them are like, well, look at this guy. He's going to come and save us and shit.
Nation of the structural causes of poverty, why they're in this condition in the first place. Poverty is rather just taken as a given and shown to be like a test of someone's personal morality. So when you're this young lad in Britain, right, and you're just snorting up all this American propaganda, you don't really realize that you are being indoctrinated. You watch films like American Sniper and you come away and you just have this attitude that military is heroic, that violence is righteous when it's in the name of freedom, and like dying for your country is the ultimate way to be a man. You see films like Social Network and you're taught that great inventions, the technologies that changed the world, didn't come from a team or communities or collective effort that was built off of major state funding that pumped into R&D for many, many years. But instead, no. The great technology, the great innovators were just one lone genius, misunderstood, emotional.
And an important thing to note here is that it's what we said earlier. Ideology informs how you write characters. And what informs ideology is the system you find yourself in. And then they start running in a loop. So, the system you find yourself in is capitalism, hyper-individualism, great man theory, grind hard and everything's going to be okay. That is the ideology that comes out of capitalism, right? And then writers who happen to, for example, be Americans, are just regular Americans as well, have this particular view of the world, just like most other Americans around them. We can talk about other countries as well. And then they write movies about society, but they write it in a way that is informed by their ideology that then reinforces said culture and said ideology. What really good artists do that want to do social commentary, take one step out and see the whole picture and then paint the picture and criticize it through that lens, or just display it for everyone. That's what a good artist does. Manages to get away from the ideology put upon him by the system that he grew up in.
Crazy hamburger! Crazy hamburger!
Thank you very much, Pandas, for the fucking 19 months, my beautiful OG fucking cop. And thank you, Clone Sister, for those 10 gifties. Hell fucking yeah. We are halfway there to today's goal. Motherfucker! Thank you very much, Clone Sister. You're a sister and you're a clone. Fucking crazy. Your house must be fucking weird as shit. Thank you very much.
Broken, but brilliant enough to reshape the world.
I am not a lizard.
That's like every time Clone Sister is in chat, it always brings me back to that big question. Okay, what is the big question? If somebody cheats on you with your clone, would you be hurt? Okay, if somebody cheats on you with your sister, of course you would be hurt because that's not the same person. But somebody cheats on you with your clone. Fight! Fight! It is, but it is. I mean, it is. It's still not you, but they're really into you. Get it? One key distinction, though, like your clone is, for example, you clone yourself when you are 25 years old, or 30 or 35 or whatever. So you have all the memories. You're the same type. Your clone is the same type of person as you. I'm not saying cloned as a baby, like a twin or whatever. You get cloned today, the clone is identical to you, and you get cheated on by your partner 1 week down the line. But no, what's the word? No manipulation is involved. Your clone isn't some crazy, fucked up rapist that lies to your partner that they are you. You know, because that would literally be rape. Like that would be rape. That's like cheating on you with your identical twin. But it's not because your twin is different to you. I'm saying you're the exact same type of person. Not if they genuinely thought it was me. Yeah, but if they genuinely thought it was you, we're not talking about that. Because that would be really fucked up. And I would literally kill my clone. I would fucking murder my clone. I don't think this is TOS Twitch mod watching this. I'm talking about an insane hypothetical where I have a clone. This is as fictional as it gets, okay? Don't fucking ban me. Are they a 100% clone or are they a clanker? 100% clone. Organic and shit. I would be angry that they didn't fuck both me and my clone. Whoa. There you go. Immediately. Humans. Can I fuck it too? Yeah. So do you know the clone is the clone? What if the clone thinks he is the one? And now we're getting interesting. Cheating, in my opinion, as soon as it's not the exact same person. I wouldn't mind, going threesome, but without me involved, it would be cheating. Shit, we're talking about doppelgangers, then there's the possibility of stumbling into the Black Lodge. Good one. I would make that motherfucker go to work in my place. Imagine you clone yourself so that motherfucker can go to work in your place, but instead that motherfucker takes your partner and forces you to go to work. Getting cucked by my clone. Now that is a good script. Thank you, Zin. Thank you very much for the 2 months, my friend. It's very nice to see you. The Zins we're doing now, I bought so many. I still have this Swedish shit that has tobacco in it. It's so fucking good. It is so irrefutably good. We've gone from plot of Mickey 17 to the plot of Severance. Mickey 17 and Severance are both very good. Yeah, in Severance, they to an extent address it with who you really want to be with or not. So most of you think it's cheating. Okay, you fucking vanilla motherfuckers. There's a lot of freaks among you who were immediately like, yeah, threesome right now. It's interesting that not a single one of you said that you would do your own clone, which would probably be like incredible. No, it wouldn't actually. I don't think you would be attracted to your clone. I genuinely don't think you would be attracted to your clone. Unless you have that thing. What's that fucking sexuality thing where you're literally attracted to yourself? You look at yourself in the mirror and you're attracted to what you see. Because that's not exactly, let's say, typical. Autosexual. I would. Narcissism. How to say narcissist in a very nice way? Autosexual. We're doing autosexual erasure here in chat. Thank you, Jaeger. Thank you so much. Jaeger gifting 3-month subs. This is fucking legit. As a trans woman, you're missing out on so much clone sex fan fiction in our circles. Oh, is that a thing? Oh, wow. Now that's fascinating. How did we get here? I have no idea. We got here because I don't know. One of you has to become, it's not sex if it's with a clone. It's just masturbation. Guys, I just found a new way to goon. How? You clone yourself, bro. It's crazy. Okay, let's stop this. It's derailing too much even for my show.
Think about it. In a film like Pursuit of Happiness, you were taught two things, right? That no matter your background, even if you're a homeless black single father living in toilets and shelters, if you just simply work harder than everyone else, you sacrifice your sleep, your dignity, and your son's childhood, one day you'll make it. The amount of films that exonerate businesses, extreme capitalism, and these sort of dog-eat-dog attitudes, they might sort of make it out like rich people are assholes, but they tend to make the life look exciting or cool or aspirational in some way. Many of the films that I've listed or just shown in the video, they are
really
still
cute,
some of my favorite films. But when you see them at such a rate and it's so continuous, to deny their ability to propagandize people and train them to think in a certain way, to deny that would be naive.
Wolf of Wall Street is like, I really fuck with it because it gives me a lot of, it's a great tool for doing retrospection, for me specifically. I'm talking as me, as Hugo. What do I mean exactly? Is because Hugo, pre-becoming a communist, watched that show, and I watched that movie, and I thought it was fucking brilliant. I want to do fucking cocaine from assholes, and I want to stock trade and rip off fucking grandmothers. Let's fucking go. Basest, most fucking primal shit ever. Yeah, brother. Right? And then I became a communist, and I watched it again, and I was like, holy shit, I was a fucking demon. So why do I find it a very good tool? It's because it really shows what ideology does to your perception of what is okay and what is not okay. You can literally, like, it's a cutoff point. You remember your old version that has not developed class consciousness, for example, and your new version, and you watch the same thing. Do an experiment with yourself. Go and watch some shit that you, for example, watched like 10 years ago, before you got into any of this freaky commie shit, right? And see if you have a completely different reading of it than you did back then. It's a benchmark, yeah. Wolf of Wall Street is a fake critical view while glorifying the lifestyle. Yeah, I mean, the lifestyle is pretty fucking awesome. Like, it's, whoa, let's fucking go, right? And you can't really, it's impossible to offset it with the amount of damage that they do. The only thing that I can imagine is there should be, the only way you can do a movie about getting an insane amount of money that allows you to live the craziest fucking lifestyle ever is to basically cut a line in the middle and develop two characters. Develop the one that's conning people and it's exceptionally wealthy, and then a character that is his victim and how his life is just going to fucking shit, you know? How his life gets completely fucking ruined. What Wolf of Wall Street doesn't do is it doesn't show any victims. It shows no victim. It literally shows there's not a single character except his wife that gets that he dumps because now he can get a hotter wife or whatever. Now that he's rich. That's the only way I see it being rewritten as a much better social commentary. Because you can't, when you have such crazy displays of wealth, in our society, it's always going to look based as shit, right? So you got to show the consequences a bit more directly. I used to think American Psycho was just made to glorify the lifestyle of rich people who are serial killers. I didn't notice that he went after homeless people, but didn't connect the dots of the rich killing the poor with no repercussion. Yeah. I mean, it's... I don't know. I think you're a little bit weird, Barry. I think it's kind of insane to watch American Psycho and think that it's making them look based. I love you, but like if you watch American Psycho and you're like this, like the main character looks based. This is based as fuck. That's fucking crazy. That's pretty fucking insane. Not even I had. In my defense, I was 13. Okay, you were 13. Ignore what I just ignore my scathing criticism of teenager Barry. Okay, Barry before his wife.
So whilst the Hays Code might not exist these days, the OBI shut down, the Nazi market's closed, to this day, the DoD still directly funds American military films, to the very point that they get final approval over the film.
I still can't get over the fact that they literally made a fucking movie about bombing a nuclear facility, and then 1 year later, the United States Army bombed a nuclear facility. Fucking class.
Call of Duty isn't directly funded by the military, but they do rub shoulders. And Call of Duty time and time again rewrites pieces of history, real history, and makes Americans out as the good guys rather than when they were the bad guys in reality.
Infinity Ward used this actual highway of death based on the February 25th through 27th, 1991 events where the U.S. Air Force bombarded the Iraqi army leaving Kuwait.
The Russians bombed it during the invasion.
Oh, that's such a it's the eternal classic. I love it.
The people trying to escape. There is a village at the crossroads.
Yeah, the Russians.
And his fighters there to prepare an ambush.
Right.
Alex and I.
Post 9/11 was interesting, right? Because in the 90s, you actually did start to see more films that were a bit more critical of American capitalism. However, when America decided to invade Iraq, Hollywood and the entertainment industry went into pro-war overdrive. Every TV show, every film had an Islamic terrorist promoting this fear that you might be in a terrorist attack, all while showing you these heroic macho soldiers. And even when they wanted to show like the horrors of the Iraq war, they didn't focus on the suffering of Iraqis. They mainly focused on the suffering of American soldiers.
Literally the fucking movie that even some people in our fucking circles are praising for some reason. War. It was just War, right? No, it was Warfare. Unironically, our soldiers went there and killed a bunch of Iraqis and felt really bad about it. Let's make a movie about it. Unironically, unfucking ironically, like it's just more realistic. It's a more realistic pitch for you to potentially think really hard if you're gonna join the army. Not a single American dies in the movie. How is it anti-American? Not a single one of them dies. Okay, one of them is in a wheelchair later. But like, oh. Warfare, yeah.
Yeah, she's got a grenade. She's got an RKG Russian grenade. She's saying to the kid.
If you're wrong, they send your ass to Leavenworth.
They painted these wars out like they were messy, complicated, bad things happened, but to some degree, they were necessary.
Nice shooting, Tex. Hell of a call. Roger that. Good looking out, Navy.
And even right now, America allows Chinese censorship of its films. Because China is such a big market for Hollywood, they will remove or downplay black and brown people from the films. They'll also remove LGBT scenes.
It's opening day again at this Beijing theater. Neither Sony, which distributed Django Unchained in China, nor the Chinese Film Board would tell us exactly what was changed.
A lot of these giant corporate entities have business with Saudi Arabia or China. So while we're all going, can we say this joke or not say that joke, on a much bigger level, they have just completely shut down critical content about human rights abuses in China. And I think that's much scarier.
So yeah, I think...
Yeah, but not in the States. Oh, I fucking love this bitch.
These days...
America has a very specific American problem. It must be the other countries that are causing it. What is the problem in this case? It's private boards running the way a script is written, the way art is produced, who try to maximize profits and then do over-the-top self-censorship in the script because they think that particular markets might not be ready for that movie, etc., etc.
Is people start to see the hypocrisy of Hollywood more and more. And I think a large part is because many of these myths that America sold through Hollywood, they can only sustain for so long because what if Americans stop believing them? Whilst genuinely critical films and television are a bit few and far between, and they might not quite get the Captain America budget, they do happen. They do exist. The Big Short, I mean, if you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. It's one of my favorites. It broke apart why the financial crisis happened due to the greed of bankers and a political class else that was just cheering them on. Fight Club, all the way back in 1999, was critiquing American consumerism, capitalism, and like shallow ideas of masculinity. And recently, shows like Painkiller, showing how the privatized
Soviet Union stopped modernist art and US blocked Soviet art, same. I mean, to an extent, yeah. Soviet Union censoring art was insane and stupid. End of conversation. One of the biggest L's. Herder, we're going to make absolutely everything about Marxism. Isn't that missing the point completely? Aren't we supposed to move into a better system so that we don't have to constantly think about ideology? No. It has to be big man with hammer on picture. Big man with hammer on picture every time. No little crazy lines, capitalist dog. We must have big man with big stick on picture working in mind. It is good now, yes.
American medical system created the opioid crisis. And as a lot of us have grown up in this internet era, these same tools of propaganda are now being repackaged from influencers, algorithms, and entire platforms, where the military sponsors COD streamers and billionaires buy up platforms to stoke culture wars. Propaganda didn't end.
Soviet and socialist realism is absolutely beautiful. I'm not bashing that genre. I would be doing the same thing as the people I'm criticizing. What I'm criticizing is having national overview on what can be painted and what can't. That's absurd. What the fuck? Like, this is not up to debate. This is not up to fucking debate.
When the Hays Code was lifted or the Cold War ended, it simply evolved. The same message, but just a new medium. America is good, capitalism works, work harder, shut up and smile. But you see right now, it's like capitalism is morphing into something else and clearly is coming to terms with its own contradictions, where America has amassed more wealth, more billionaires, more millionaires than anyone else on earth ever. And yet there are still people living in terrible conditions in poverty. Their drug problems are crazy, medical bills are insane, and the younger generation are increasingly paying unstable amounts of rent with likely no ability to ever afford a home. America's mythology is becoming unstuck, but we can all see the cracks are widening. We can all see the myths are breaking down. More people.
That's why I always scream, China, please destroy the what's it called, the fucking digital Great Wall or whatever the fuck they call it. You know, the Chinese digital Great Wall. Please destroy it. Please fucking destroy it. Those few months on Chinese TikTok show me that they make fire ass memes, dude. We need as much cultural intermixing between every single corner of the world, not because that will make us understand that we are far more alike than different, that their struggle is our struggle. Class, no war but class war. No, it's because the memes are going to be fucking fire as hell, dude. Fucking Chinese shit posters are completely fucking unhinged, okay? I want to see shit posts from South Africa, shit posts from Nigeria, shit posts from Brazil, shit posts from Brazil we see. There you go. We got access to Brazilian shit posts. 100 out of 100. And now, the world's second most powerful country, we don't have access to any of their memes? That's absurd. That is absurd. That is a great disservice to our species. It's let a billion shitposts bloom. Yeah, hell yeah, brother, hell yeah. Yeah. Chinese baby saved me. Talk about the cons of socialist countries, and the United States alone has done those things times 10. Yeah, of course. But we also we are allowed to talk about the L's of past socialist experiments so that we don't repeat them. That's the whole point. That's the whole meme. Marxists are the most critical of certain aspects of past socialist experiments. That you criticizing it doesn't imply that you think that that the United States did better things. We hold ourselves to a greater standard. Non-American shitposting. What's this? You're gonna poop sock me?
Nothing Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's 200.
What? I didn't get it.
People are asking questions and starting to realize how American propaganda fried their brain.
Why is America not the greatest country in the world, Professor? That's my answer. Sure used to be. We stood up for what was right. We fought for moral reasons. We passed laws, struck down laws for moral reasons. We waged wars on poverty, not poor people. We aspired to intelligence.
Oh, God.
Intelligence. We didn't belittle it. It didn't make us feel inferior. We reached for the stars. We were able to be all these things and do all these things because we were informed.
Oh, I know that Jimmy's doing propaganda or whatever, trying to get that hog energy into it. He will grow. Don't worry, he will grow.
By great men.
This is the best lib clip. This is the big chungus of lib shit. Okay, this clip is the big chungus of lib shit. This is their ultimate super soldier. Okay.
We're revered. First step in solving any problem.
You're not a liberal if you don't play this video on repeat to yourself every time you fucking goon.
Problem is recognizing there is
big
one.
Lib goose.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to jump on the Patreon. You can support me. It massively helps the channel.
Thank you, Jimmy. Fucking G. Thank you very much, Jimmy.
We will all go together when we go. What a comforting fact that is to know. Universal bereavement.